All right, so today we're going to talk about a book that is somehow a time travel sci fi novel, a spy thriller, a workplace comedy, and a romance all bundled into one. And somehow it works. I am, of course, talking about The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley.
Joe's probably reading.
This is one of the most talked about debuts in 2024. Somehow I missed that. I read it because the cover looked cool. This is the prompt that led to me reading this book. But it was a New York Times bestseller. It was a finalist for the Hugo Award. It won the Goodreads Choice Award for science fiction. And it even landed on Barack Obama's summer reading list. So yeah, there was a lot of hype going on. And I'm happy to say that for the most part, it lives up to that hype. So I encourage you to watch some of the interviews on YouTube with the author about how this book came about. It's pretty interesting. She was basically inspired by, all right, this is my take on it anyway. She was inspired by watching The Terror on Netflix. And she kind of got a little bit of a crush on Graham Gore, one of the characters. And as she dug deeper into him, she learned that, yes, he was a true character, and he was very intriguing, and he was kind of cute, had adorable dimples, that kind of thing. And she thought, well, what would happen if we brought a character like that into the modern day? And that's kind of where this book took off. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm going to tell you why. What worked, what didn't, and the one thing that for me held it back from being a perfect read. This review is completely spoiler-free, so stick around. Okay, so here's the setup. The British government acquires a portal that allows time travel. And because they're the British government, they do the most British government thing possible and form a ministry, the Ministry of Time. The ministry's big project is pulling people out of the past that were going to die on their timeline anyway and bring them into the present to see what kind of impact time travel has on the human body. Each of these people that are brought to the present are called expats, and they are assigned a bridge, which is a person that helps them acclimate to modern life. Our narrator, we never learn her name, which is an interesting choice, is a young British Cambodian woman who gets assigned Commander Graham Gore, who's a real historical figure who died in the infamous Franklin expedition in the Arctic in 1847. So now she's got a Victorian naval officer living in her house and learning about modern things like washing machines and Spotify and the collapse of the British Empire. And that setup alone has enough humor in it to make the whole thing worth the price of admission. Let's start with the humor, because honestly, this book is funny, like laugh out loud funny. Bradley has this dry, sharp wit that runs through the entire book. The fish out of water moments that the expats are put in are just hilarious. Like a Victorian man dealing with modern dating culture, or a woman from the 1600s finding nightclubs and dating apps. These characters react to the modern world in a way that feels both authentic and absolutely delightful. The humor never feels forced. It comes very naturally with the absurdity of the premise and just the voice of the narrator. She's adorable. Now let's talk about the romance. This is a slow burn, and I mean a really slow burn. Bradley takes her time building the connection between the narrator and Gore, and there's this wonderful tension that's kind of natural because they're literally from different centuries. He gets all flustered when he sees her bare legs because she's wearing shorts when it's 100 degrees outside. She's trying to maintain professionalism while living with this charming man with the adorable dimples. The romance is light and tender and never overwhelms the plot. It just enhances it. It's just there, a little sprinkle. Bradley's writing style is another massive highlight. It's smart and sharp without being inaccessible. She moves between comedy and real emotional weight effortlessly. There are passages about identity, colonialism, and what it means to belong that are woven into the narrative with a light touch. They hit without feeling preachy. For a debut novel, the confidence and control are really impressive. So the characters are where this book really shines. Graham Gore is a standout, of course. He's a fascinating mix of old world manners and genuine curiosity about the modern world. He's polite to a fault, but underneath that polite exterior is a lot of pain. He is coming to the grips with the fact that he almost died, or did die, in the Arctic, and that all of his friends, everybody he was with, died, and he's feeling a lot of guilt about that too. The narrator is equally compelling. She's witty, self-aware, much like the author, though the author claims that she's not based on herself. And the supporting cast of expats is wonderful. Each of them dealing with the modern world in their own way. And seeing how their journeys unfold is one of the book's greatest pleasures. The concept of this book for me was very intriguing. Using time travel not as the centerpiece of a book, but as a backdrop to explore themes of displacement, power, and human connection is a fresh angle. And the pacing is solid throughout. The book moves between cozy domestic scenes, workplace shenanigans, and genuine thriller level tension as the conspiracy starts to unfold. I was never bored. It took me maybe 2 days to get through this book, and the shifts between genres felt seamless rather than forced. Sounds great, right? Well, here's the thing. The ending, this is where it lost that 5th star for me. Without spoiling anything, I'll say that the final act gets a lot more complicated. The spy thriller elements start to ramp up, and there's some big reveals that are genuinely surprising. I appreciated the ambition of it, but the resolution didn't quite land for me the same way that the rest of the book did. It's not a bad ending. The story delivers what it promises, and it wraps things up in a way that makes sense. But after such a masterful build-up of character and tension and romance, I wanted the landing to hit a little harder than it did. It felt like the ending was trying to do a lot all at once. Resolve the conspiracy, address themes of colonialism and power, and wrap up the love story. That said, I know plenty of people will love the ending, and that's very much a personal preference. Honestly, a slight imperfection in the ending of an otherwise phenomenal book, that's still a very strong 4-star read for me. I definitely recommend you read it. So the final verdict for me, The Ministry of Time gets 4 out of 5 stars. It's funny, it's smart, the romance is heartwarming, and the concept is genuinely original. The character work is outstanding, and the writing is a joy to read. The ending didn't fully satisfy me, but it didn't undo the rest of the wonderful work of the book. If you like genre mashups, if you like the idea of time travel meets rom-com, meets espionage, this is absolutely the one for you. It's a fantastic debut, and I'm very excited to see what Kaliane Bradley writes next. Okay, so that's my review. Let me know in the comments. Have you read The Ministry of Time? What did you think of the ending? I'd love to hear your take. And if you haven't read it, let me know if this review convinced you to go ahead and read it. As usual, I'm going to close with a snippet of a song that I made for this book. It's kind of a fun one, spoiler-free, and a link to the full song in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Keep reading.
What do you owe a man the past already threw away? When every morning he makes tea like it's his one short thing to say. I was supposed to be his bridge, but I became the water too. And now I'm drowning in a tight mind that was never meant for two.